Krishna. So welcome again everybody for our Sunday program. So happy to see all of you. So very wonderful. So please bless me that I can say something valuable. I'm not so sure about that, but I will try. To speak on behalf of my Guru Maharaj, Prabhupada, on behalf of my husband, and seeking the blessings of all of you. So we will today read actually some very, very special scripture, which some of you may be familiar with, and maybe some of you not. It's a Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, it's an incarnation of Krishna in this age of Kali. It is actually something very, very special. Every syllable of this book, it's not different from Shri Krishna. Some devotees even actually they have not a murti on their altar, but the book of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, and they can offer even boga food to the book of Bhāgavatam because it's not different from Krishna. So it's a very, very special book that gives light to all of us in this dark age. So we will read from 9th canto of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, which is called Liberation. And each canto, there are 12 cantos of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, and each canto represents different part of the body of the Lord. So first canto is the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, then you come up to the 10th canto, smiling face of Lord Krishna, and 9th canto it's very important, like Srila Prabhupada, our Acharya, he explained that it's very important to, when we reach Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, we have to go from the lotus feet. In a humble way, we start, and then we gradually progress, because if we just jump directly, let us say, to 10th canto, dealing with Lord Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, Krishna's smiling face. Thank you so much. So, if we go just directly to the 10th canto, we may not really understand it properly. We really have to gradually progress with our realization from the first canto up to the 12th canto. And 9th canto, it's a very, very incredible part of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, when there are many amazing stories, which are sometimes so puzzling, but extremely important for us to really achieve, as the book is called, that part of Bhagavatam is called liberation. Liberation from material consciousness. To really achieve deep spiritual realization, we need to understand these stories without judging them in a mundane way, but seeing them in a very spiritual way, understanding how Krishna deals in such a special, extreme way sometimes with his devotees, and we have to be prepared to understand that in order to really digest the knowledge of 10th canto Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, where there are described the pastimes of Lord Krishna in Vrindavan. So today we will read one very wonderful verse, which is from the 4th chapter, text 63, I'm sorry. So 9th canto, chapter 4, and text 63. So this chapter is called Ambarish Maharaj offended by Durvasa Muni. So I will read the Sanskrit verse and then the translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Aham Bhakta Paradhino Yasvantatra Ivadvija Sadhu Birgasta Hridayo Bhaktair Bhakta Jana Priyaha. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said to the Brahmana, I am completely under the control of my devotees. Indeed, I am not at all independent. Because my devotees are completely devoid of material desires, I sit only within the course of their hearts. What to speak of my devotee, even those who are devotees of my devotee are very dear to me. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. All the great stalwart personalities in the universe, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, are fully under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead is fully under the control of his devotee. Why is this? Because the devotee is Anya Bilashita Shunya. In other words, he has no material desires in his heart. His only desire is to think always of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and how to serve Him best. Because of this transcendental qualification, the Supreme Lord is extremely favorable to the devotees. Indeed, not only the devotees, but also the devotees of the devotees. Srila Narottam Das Thakur says, Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nishtara Payachekava. Without being a devotee of a devotee, one cannot be released from material entanglement. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu identified himself as Gopi Bhartur Parakamalayar Dasa Dasa Nudasa. Thus, he instructed us to become not directly servants of Krishna, but servants of the servant of Krishna. Devotees like Brahma, Narada, Vyasadeva, and Shukadev Goswami are directly servants of Krishna, and one who becomes a servant of Narada, Vyasadeva, and Shukadev, like the six Goswamis, is still more devoted. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur therefore says, Yasya prasada Bhagavat prasada. If one very sincerely serves the spiritual master, Krishna certainly becomes favorable to such a devotee. Following the instructions of a devotee is more valuable than following the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly. So I will read the translation again. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said to the Brahmana, I am completely under the control of my devotees. Indeed, I am not at all independent. Because my devotees are completely devoid of material desires, I sit only within the course of their hearts. What to speak of my devotee, even those who are devotees of my devotee are very dear to me. So, yeah, this is very, very encouraging verse and very, very instructive for all of us. Because Lord Krishna, he is Bhagavan, he is the Supreme Lord who possesses all opulences. He is Swarat, he is completely independent. He is the Supreme Lord, Vishnu, all-pervading. Lord Narayan, he is the source of all creation, both spiritual and material. He is incredible, most wonderful, loving personality, and he is the Lord. He is the Supreme Lord. All other lords are under his full control. So that we can be sure, but still it is just so wonderful, as we have read now in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, that such a Lord of all lords is just so kind and so loving that he allows himself to be completely controlled by his pure devotees. So this gives us actually a lot of hope because for example, in our movement we have our main spiritual master Srila Prabhupada, who is such an incredible, wonderful personality, who descended from the spiritual world to spread Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the incarnation of Krishna in this age of Kali, to spread his mission, to spread the holy name, to spread the knowledge of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam to the heart of everybody. Why? Why is such a mission? Because the Lord, again, he loves each and every one of us so much that he is ready to even send his dearmost devotees from the spiritual world to the material world, which is a very dark place and very difficult place. It is said there is a danger at every step, everywhere. Even demigods can fall down again, to the lowest species of life. It's just danger at every step, and there is a suffering at every step, even for demigods. They are not really happy. It's described also in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Of course, in comparison to us here in Kali Yuga, they are more happy, but still, because they are not fully devoted in pure devotional service, many of them, that's why they are not happy. The only happiness which really the soul is hankering for is the happiness of being connected to Krishna in pure loving devotional service. So there is this verse which I'm now forgetting. Maybe Bhaktivinoda Prabhu can help me, or any one of you, where it said, Bhukti Mukti Siddhikami Sakala Ashanta Krishna Bhakta Akama. Please forgive me, I forgot. Mataji. It's a very famous verse which says, Bhukti Mukti Siddhikami. So if one desires bhukti, material sense gratification, mukti, even liberation, siddhis, mystic perfections. We can all get it in this material world by certain processes, we can be benefited in different ways. But still, even though you achieve all that, bhukti, mukti, siddhi, you are not happy, you are not peaceful, you are not shanta, and without peace in the heart, there cannot be happiness. There is always some kind of unsettlement, and we need more, we want more, we are searching further. Yes, so the only one who is shanta, who is peaceful, is the one who is devoid of all material desires, engaged in loving devotional service of the Lord. And actually also, it's very interesting to explain that, because one who is not engaged in devotional service of the Lord cannot be really without any material desire. Because the nature of the soul is to actually be very active in loving. We are part of the Lord, and He is love, and we are also love. But we are persons. The Lord is a person, and we are person. So actually, our ultimate identity is very personal existence, engaged in this transcendental loving pastimes of the Lord. And if we are not situated in that, if we are, like, let us say, in personal liberation, it's still sort of a material desire, because it is a desire for me to be liberated. So mukti, liberation, it's sort of material desire actually, and that's why even there cannot be really full peace, full fulfillment. Again, like without that peace cannot be happiness. So who can be really happy? Only devotee of the Lord, who is simply desiring to please the Lord, please the spiritual master, please the Vaishnavas. Such a happy, simple life. And you don't have to be actually very advanced. One can be even a child. One can be a mother at home, taking care of the kids and the family. One can be anybody in this material world. One can be king, one can be politician, but one can be still at the same time engaged in that simple consciousness. Whatever I do to please my spiritual master, to please the Vaishnavas, please Krishna. And if one is in that consciousness, one is very peaceful and very happy. So this is actually such a wonderful guidance Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is giving to us. So here in this pastime, Ambarish Maharaj was offended by Durvasa Muni. This is also very, very illustrative, because who was Maharaj Ambarish? Somebody knows who was Maharaj Ambarish. I know many of you know, but maybe some of you can say who was Maharaj Ambarish.
He was great king. He was very great king.
Maybe Lajjavati Mataji can explain.
He was a very great king, and he had a great responsibility. He was very devoted to the Lord, always serving Him. Whatever he did, it was for Krishna.
Yes, exactly. So he was such an example actually of an even person who is in a very powerful position, an opulent position. Still he was completely free of all material desires and doing everything to please Krishna. Yes?
He was also doing all the 9 processes of devotional service, all of them.
Beautiful.
It's not enough to do one, but he did all 9 of them.
Yes. He was hearing and chanting about the Lord. He was doing menial service in the temple to the Lord. All these 9 processes were there, surrendering fully at the end to the Lord. Yes. And who was Durvasa Muni? Who can say? Who is Durvasa Muni? Probably he is still around, so we have to be very careful what we say. Who is Durvasa Muni? Yeah, great sage, yeah, exactly. Should be very careful. So, great sage, definitely.
Brother of Dattatreya, brother of Chanda,
Yeah.
son of...
Okay.
Yeah,
But
we can talk about the lineage then.
sure, but it's actually a side issue. But just his identity was that he was a very powerful mystic yogi. He was actually expansion of Lord Shiva. Very great personality. Definitely, and had all mystic cities. And in that pastime, it will be shown what that personality could do. But there is such an illustrative example for us in order to really progress smoothly towards the 10th chapter of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, towards the eternal pastimes of the Lord in Goloka Vrindavan, we have to learn this lesson. So the lesson is that Maharaj Ambarish was performing Ekadashi fast, and as a pure devotee, he was doing everything to please Krishna. And also, again, when we want to please Krishna, we understand Krishna's desire, and Krishna wants that every living entity be benefited, be engaged in devotional service. So he was doing this also to benefit all his citizens in the kingdom. He was fasting, and he was doing it for the benefit of everybody. And now Dvadashi came, the time when one is supposed to break the Ekadashi. And there are different kind of ways how we can break the Ekadashi, especially when one has been fasting full fast. But just at that moment, like prior to that, arrived that great sage, the Rasa Muni, that great mystic, to his place. And of course, Maharaj Ambarish, is being very gentle Vaishnava and understanding the etiquette, of course, wanted to please him and invite him for prasad. So the Rasa Muni said yes, he accepted the invitation, but went to take bath. And just that time, the exact time, because when you really fast fully and you want to dedicate, you made sankalpa for some benefit of, for example, his citizens. So he made a sankalpa. So it was very crucial to break the fast in a particular time, not just any time. And the time was just arriving, but Durvasa Muni was not coming. So it was very, very difficult, because it was about to pass that moment when it's the last moment when he was supposed to break the fast. So what to do? Then the whole benefit for all his citizens and everybody will be lost. So he was discussing that matter with his ministers, and they gave him advice that he should just drink a little bit of water. This is also considered to be like a breaking fast, but also it's in one sense not breaking fast. So it's not to be breaking the etiquette, because of course the king would never eat or accept anything before his guests, his honored guests will eat. So what happened? Durvasa Muni, by his great mystic power, just even there he was still taking baths, and he understood, oh, king has broken now the Ekadashi. So I mean, Dvadashi break the fasting. So this is great offense. So he rushed to the palace and was very angry, and thought, okay, I will teach that king a good lesson. So he arrived, and he basically insulted the king, called him a pretender, and invoked by his mystic power. He took one hair from his matted hair and put it with great anger to the ground, and from that came very great like a demoniac personality, fiery personality, who was about to devour Maharaj Ambarish. And now we can listen to this incredible description and what we can learn from that. So Maharaj Ambarish's reaction was actually amazing, because he did not even step back. He did not have even any kind of physical or emotional reaction to that demon, because he was so surrendered to the Supreme Lord in love, and he had no fear. He was completely peaceful. Yeah, again, when we are peaceful, then there is no fear. So he was peaceful because he was completely understanding that I'm eternal servant of Krishna, and whatever Krishna arranges for me, that's for my best benefit. If that demon devours me now on the spot, it's completely fine, because that's the Lord's desire, and the Lord has the best plan. So he was not even like physically like reacting, just even stepping back. No, okay, whatever is the Lord's desire. And what would happen is described in Vishnu Loka, in the spiritual world. Lord Vishnu already knew what will happen. The Lord is all-knowing, so he already prepared. He knew the nature of the Rasa Muni, and he kind of understood. So Sudarshan Chakra, the disc of the Lord, the wheel, was already prepared. So the wheel immediately was there, Sudarshan Chakra, to first Chakra killed that demon on the spot, and then started to chase that great expansion of Lord Shiva, Durvasa Muni, and tried to kind of destroy him. But Durvasa Muni was not standing still as Maharaj Ambarish, just completely surrendered and thinking, okay, oh my Lord, whatever is your desire, or just taking some responsibility. Maybe I committed some offense. Okay, it's all your mercy. Let it be burned now. No. He started to run away for his life. so we can see, I mean, I don't really want to ridicule Durvasa Muni. I don't know what I will do, or I know what I will do in that situation. I will definitely follow in the footsteps of Durvasa Muni. I think I will just try to run away. But in any case, it's a very illustrative description. What incredible benefits pure devotional service is offering to us. One is becoming completely fearless in any situation of life. Just a little kind of side story, when Srila Prabhupada was here on the planet, and there was First World War, and India was attacked by bombs. There was a bombing, and there was these bomb shelters, and there was a signals alarm. Okay, bombs are coming. Please, everybody run to the bomb shelter. And he was just at the time making puris for Krishna, for his deities. And his family was just, calling, please, Abhay, come, we have to run to the bomb shelter, please. He was completely undisturbed, offering these puris to Krishna, and seeing that these bombs which are coming are no different from Krishna. So it's a wonderful illustration of the nature of Srila Prabhupada, who was really like following the footsteps of Ambarish Maharaj, completely undisturbed, and just offered peacefully these puris to Krishna. We can discuss it also, how we should react, and what should be also responsible, but pure devotees can do like that. So if we are attacked by some danger, maybe it's better we just run to the bomb shelter or whatever, we try to protect ourselves. That's not advocating, but just the consciousness. We are speaking about the consciousness of a materialistic consciousness and pure spiritual consciousness. So Durvasa Muni started to run for his life, and he was such an incredibly powerful personality that he could go to Brahma Loka. He first tried to take shelter of Lord Brahma, but Lord Brahma told him, no, Sudarshan Chakra, this is beyond my powers, I cannot help you. And ultimately he even went to the spiritual world, to Vishnu Loka, to meet Lord Vishnu. And he took shelter of Lord Vishnu and asked him for shelter, asked him for protection. But Lord Vishnu speaks now these verses, where he so beautifully describes that my pure devotees, they are in my heart, and I am actually completely controlled by my pure devotees. I have no independence. I cannot now do anything for you. So he actually, little by little, understood. It took him some time. It took from the perspective of earthly planet, it was 1 year. Of course, when you go to the higher planets, it goes very fast. But still, he had to learn on this journey, traveling and trying to seek shelter of different great personalities. Ultimately, even Lord Vishnu, and then he understood. Pure devotee is much more powerful than Lord Vishnu, even. How? Because Lord Vishnu empowers the devotee in such an incredible way, out of love. So this is very, very wonderful, and gives us so much hope. Again, like just in a matter of our destination, when we are going to leave this world, leave this body. So what will happen to us? I think all of us are concerned with this, and this is a part of a human consciousness that we should be really concerned. What will be our destination? Where will we go from that present human form of life? And we should be very much desiring to not to make it worse, at least to really make the best use of that human form we are now in, and to take advantage of this great opportunity of being offered pure devotional service. So Srila Prabhupada once mentioned that actually the progress is like that if a devotee leaves this world, and somehow or another the devotee managed to please the spiritual master. So the spiritual master offers that devotee to Krishna, and even actually Srimati Radharani. And Srimati Radharani is very, very humble, and she knows. And if spiritual master is very pleased, she is the ultimate guru actually in the spiritual world. So she goes to Krishna and says, Krishna, this devotee is better than me. And she feels that. This is her incredible humility. Please accept him or her. So, and Srila Prabhupada just made a little side comment that you may be even fool number one. You can say you may be disqualified in so many ways. We may not be, very good in external measurements, like I say, or judgments of the society or even devotional society. But Krishna sees us from within. The Guru sees us from within. And that's what they see and that's what they judge. And if they are satisfied, then we can be so-called in a general kind of condemnation of society, maybe even fool number one. But still, if Guru is pleased and Krishna is pleased, then we can achieve full perfection. Because then Guru says, Krishna is completely controlled by his pure devotees. So it's such an incredible opportunity for us to take shelter of a pure devotee, because it is described like there is a difference. If you go without the shelter of a pure devotee, without the shelter of the spiritual master on a spiritual path, it's like walking the stairs to the high building. And you have to be really very strong, and even there are so many temptations on the way, and it's very unlikely that we may not even make it. We can have a heart attack on the way, whatever. It's very difficult. But if you go by the elevator, so this is a comparison to the spiritual master. Spiritual master is like that elevator who very quickly brings us from the bottom to the top by his mercy. So then, and when such a pure devotee of the Lord is somehow not pleased by us, then he says at the end of our life, please, oh my dear Srimati Radharani, please Lord Krishna, please accept that person. And they have no power to reject such a devotee. Because they are completely controlled by love of that pure devotee. So yeah, this is really wonderful, best self-interest. So I think I just stop here. But if any one of you have some comments or questions, I would be very happy. We can have some discussion in this regard. If anybody wants to say anything?
Vivasabhumi is very interesting, and there are many stories about him. And actually, this behavior of Ambarish Maharaj to not at all be disturbed, I see that in Sri Prahlad, in the story of how his father was so heavy with him and tried to torture him and kill him and whatever he could, he was very powerful. He was not just a small king. He was the king of the demons, and he was the worst one. And everybody was bowing down to him. Even the seasons, the trees and the grass. And if he wanted the flower to bloom, then he did it, and everybody, even Narada Muni, just so he was indeed horrible. Prahlad Maharaj, he was a small boy, 5 years old. At one point, he was thinking that how my father is playing with me. A strange place. And how he was tolerating everything. His father had him on his lap, and he took the small boy and just throw him on the floor. That is the point. That Prahlad Maharaj, he just tolerated it, and he was peaceful, and like just accepting. I don't know accepting or not, but he was there. He was there, and he just took it, and he was not. This is the point. He was not disturbed because he had full faith and knowledge of the Lord.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I just actually, I forgot completely to finish the story of Durvasa Muni, how it ended up. Then Durvasa Muni understood that the only way how he can be freed from the chasing of Sudarshan Chakra, he has to go back to Ambarish Maharaj and beg for forgiveness, because the Lord is completely controlled by Ambarish Maharaj. And Ambarish Maharaj was waiting a whole year, fasting and praying for Durvasa Muni to be saved. What a consciousness. The person who wanted to kill him, actually very unjustly, very, yeah, in a very unjust way, he was still praying for him and asking for him to be released from the chase of Sudarshan Chakra, and waiting for him and fasting. So when Durvasa Muni arrived, he just paid his humble obeisances to Durvasa Muni and then offered beautiful prayers to Sudarshan Chakra. Please release the great sage. And then actually it ended up really wonderful, because Durvasa Muni got such a beautiful realization of the nature of pure devotees, and how he had this material vision, the external vision, and this is such an important lesson for us. Yes. That when we judge things externally, we see, oh, this one is like that, and we put people, this is the normal way, we like to put people in how to say, cubes, or how you call it. Simply judge the person, okay, this person is like that, this person is like that, this person is like that. And different categories, yeah, but yeah. And we are often a little unjust and a little black and white, and don't really understand. The only person who can judge, we can say, is Lord Krishna and his pure devotees. Because they have the mature realization and vision of a true nature of that person, again, from the heart. They see a person from within, and that's why they can really judge. Who is, for example, Yamaraj? Yamaraj is the Lord of Death, the punishing the sinful, and he is giving the sentences to each person. Okay, you do this, you have to experience this and that. And who is Yamaraj? Yamaraj is completely pure devotee of Lord Shri Krishna. So this position cannot be given to anybody except pure devotee, because they are not judgmental, they are not envious of anybody. They are not. They don't have the feelings of anger or harshness. Oh, you were so cruel, horrible. You know, you deserve a lot of punishment. They are extremely judge, and they execute some kind of like reactions just in the mood of teaching that person better. It's not a punishment, it's really like a merciful lesson. Okay, you have to learn your lesson this way, and the point is that you will learn better. Yeah. So that was actually that wonderful end of this pastime, that Durvasa Muni was completely transformed and understood that my material vision of that king was so dangerous for me. I almost lost my life. And I was, it was a great offense I have committed. I did not understand. So how we should definitely learn how dangerous it is to make this material judgment of each other. If we are pure devotees, we can do. Also, like just a little side comment, Srila Prabhupada once mentioned that to be angry at devotees, better not. If you are pure devotee, yes, you can be. Like he himself, Srila Prabhupada, sometimes was very angry with his disciples, but then immediately when the disciple learned and the situation was corrected, he gave it up and it was completely peaceful. So he just used the anger for the purpose to teach mercifully the disciple better, out of love. But when we try to imitate Srila Prabhupada, oh my God, yeah, it may be very dangerous. I just remember my own example, if you want, just maybe you can learn from it. There was one devotee in our old temple in Fridhemsplan who was actually very mentally disturbed, kind of really had a lot of problems with his mind. And he was taking a lot of drugs before he came to Krishna consciousness. And very difficult, he had a really difficult life. And he sometimes behaved in a very unconventional matters, you can say. And sometimes even he misbehaved. You can say also. And once he really managed to make me very angry. He did something which was really not good. It was correct. It was not good what he did. But what I did, it was a big mistake. I corrected him in front of others. I started to like not shout, but little strong words. Please, don't do like that. It's very bad. And afterwards, what followed, I just could not really sleep at all, and I understood. It took me a little bit time. Krishna had to work on me. I just could not sleep at all, and I understood gradually. I have committed offenses to that. That person is actually a very sincere devotee of the Lord, but he is just now so conditioned by different karmic reactions, so that he cannot do better sometimes. But I misjudge it. I saw that he did it like purposefully or whatever, but still my reaction was wrong. And then I started to listen to the lecture of my Guru Maharaj, because I just could not sleep at all. I just put it that time, it was these tapes, cassettes, if you remember, long ago. So I just put on in the middle of the lecture, I just put it on, and it was just exactly that point Guru Maharaj was speaking about. That if we try to imitate Srila Prabhupada and be angry with devotees, even though they sometimes may misbehave, you will commit great aparadha, and you will have to suffer the reactions for that. Because if we are pure devotees, we can do, again, because our chastisement, it's out of love and compassion for that person. But if love and compassion is not there, we have no right to chastise anybody, only ourselves. We can be angry at ourselves if we do some wrong things and try to correct it. So that was, I very gladly share this for the benefit of all of you. We have to be very, very careful with devotees, even though they must sometimes even not behaving in the right way. But what do we know? What is their motive? What is their heart? What is their consciousness? So let us not follow in that painful kind of example of Durvasa Muni, that we will have to be chased by Sudarshan Chakravarti. In some way, we will have to have our reactions on ourselves. And rather follow in the footsteps of pure devotees. So, Prabhu, you wanted to say something. Thank you so much, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. You inspired me to finish this properly. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, just a question. Because Maharaj Parikshit does pray Krishna Tvadiya Padapankaja Panjanantam. So he says that let the swan of my mind be entangled in the lotus stems of Krishna's lotus feet. And we can imagine that Srila Prabhupada would also be in that kind of mood when he was worshipping and like offering puri when those bones was happening. And so you mentioned that, but at the same time, it's still very important to kind of explain that through our perspective, how we should relate, should we imitate, we shouldn't imitate Prabhupada. Should relate to us in situation.
Yeah, it's actually an important question. Again, yeah, maybe you did not hear the question. Did you hear, all of you, the question? Okay, I can try to formulate it. So, Srila Prabhupada's example was that during the First World War there was bombs, and he was just offering puris to Krishna. Everybody was running to the bomb shelter, but he did not. He just continued offering the puris to Krishna, and he could see that these bombs were actually Krishna coming, and he was completely surrendered. Is it like our level? Shall we, when we are in danger, shall we follow that example of Srila Prabhupada, or how shall we react on a dangerous situation in this world? That's a very important question. Yeah. So definitely, if we are on the level of Srila Prabhupada, who is completely already achieved complete pure perfection of life, we can do, but we don't have to be either. Even like, for example, one is a family man, one has responsibility for one's family, even though one is maybe completely pure devotee, still just out of compassion actually for those who are dependent on oneself. One is trying to save one's life, or the spiritual master, or we have maybe some important position in leadership of temple. So we may follow this example, or we may not. It just depends. But if we are not on that high level of we are being completely surrendered to Krishna and completely fearless and completely actually dependent on His mercy and seeing that Krishna, do with me what you like, I'm yours. very beautiful consciousness, and we are ready to accept any arrangement of Krishna, even though it may be very, very painful, or we may die, we may be injured, whatever. So if we are not on that level, we should be very responsible. And Śrīmad Bhāgavatam also gives the instruction that actually first duty of a human being is to preserve one's life, one's health, physical, emotional, and spiritual health, three levels. We have to be very careful with this, because if we are trying to imitate and in this way actually act irresponsibly, so then we may really lose even our life, or become so terribly damaged that because we are not in high spiritual consciousness, so that damage will cause us even to lose our spiritual life, because we will be too disturbed, and we will even blame Krishna. Or we may die, but we may not really achieve that full perfection which Krishna wants us to achieve in this very life. So that's why the first duty is to preserve our health, our life, by all means. Yeah. Even though there is even some statement of acharyas that, let us say, there will be some war situation and there will be nothing to eat, and the only thing to eat will be meat. Yeah, okay, even though we are Vaishnavas and we will never otherwise eat meat, but you are allowed in such a situation to even eat meat just to survive, that you can prolong your life, that you can come closer to Krishna. This is so important for Krishna, actually, that we really make it in this life, and for that we are allowed to preserve our life. We are sometimes taking allopathic treatments, which even include some kind of products from slaughterhouses. Maybe you have to do that. Okay, you take the treatment to save your life, to save your health. Then, yeah, if you can avoid it, good, avoid it. But if you cannot avoid it, that's still authorized. You are still allowed to do that, because human life is so precious. In human life, we have many sanctions, many. How to say? Krishna is closing his eyes, for us, because he wants us to make it. Really, it's so important. We don't know how many lifetimes it took us to come to that human form, and we have now the opportunity to go back home, back to God. That all of us who sit here in this temple, so it's so important. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
My point is that devotees are very rare, and one should be careful. I mean, where will you get Krishna consciousness if there is no devotee? Because Krishna consciousness you get from a devotee. You cannot go and buy it anywhere else.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, so we have to also understand that to try to really not judge anybody, not to commit any offense, because that will again prolong our lives in this material world sometimes, even for a long time. It is said that bhakti can never be destroyed. Bhakti, whatever bhakti we have gained, will stay there, and we will eventually again progress from that point when we stop. But it can be covered for even many lifetimes. I have one friend actually of mine. I was telling this story some time ago, but maybe I can tell many of you know that. I have a friend who went through some regression therapy when you were going to your previous lives, or whatever. For some reason she was doing it, and she could see several lifetimes. If it's really like that or not, one cannot 100% say, but still she could see different life situations, and it was all material situations. This life she's a very sincere devotee, very dedicated and devoted, but the previous lives were not like that. But then they came like deeper, and suddenly she could see herself in a male body, worshipping the deity of Gopal, and chanting Gopal Gopal, and got such ecstatic symptoms in that regression that she never experienced in this life. And she was completely shaking, all the hair was standing on her, and she was just shouting, crying, Gopal Gopal. And so she understood that in some life she was a great devotee, but she did something which made her to prolong her journey. And even many lifetimes seem to be like that, like material lives, complete forgetfulness of Krishna. So that's really making, of course it's very painful and very difficult for us, but also for Krishna it's very painful. He wants us back in this very life. It's we are His dear parts and parcels, and if we have to prolong our journey, it causes really so much pain and sorrow for Krishna. So yeah, let us be very careful and be very responsible, preserve our life, physical, emotional, spiritual, as good as we can, so that we can go back home, back to Godhead in this very life, or as soon as possible. Yes. Haribol. Thank you so much. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai.